So today marks the first year since having my stroke, and I'm going to post something that I actually wrote about 6 months ago. At the time, I was still suffering from partial insomnia and night terrors, and I woke up at about 2 a.m. My mind had brought me back to that first night after the stroke when I knew what had happened to me, but I didn't know what recovery was going to look like at all, and I couldn't really get anyone to explain it to me. So I thought to myself, what would I say to myself then with what I know now? And I sat down and I wrote a letter. This is actually part of a larger series that we're going to be doing at Brainstorm, but I thought it was important to sort of post it today in its raw form as I wrote it 6 months ago. If you're in a similar situation as myself, I strongly suggest that you do the same thing. It's not only therapeutic, if you post it, it could help somebody.
Congratulations. If you're reading this, there's a good chance you've beaten some pretty horrific odds. You probably have very little desire to celebrate, and for good reason. This sucks ass. Despite the well-intentioned battle cries of loved ones, insisting you've got this, the next few months will very likely be the worst of your life. But I'm here to tell you, it is possible to get to the other side of this. Very likely even. These first days will be hell, consistent with a persistent fear of everything. Despair is going to try to consume you. It'll be the fight of your life, but you have to fight back. Dignity will have to be thrown out the window. Depending on the severity of the deficits the stroke have left you with, your medical team will be taking over some very personal things. You may have to rely on them to clean you, feed you, and maybe even wipe your ass. One of the more important things you'll need to do right now is get over yourself. Rehab in general will demand this, both short-term and long-term. The instruction book on how to move forward after a stroke unfortunately didn't automatically download when you had one. Neither did the So Now You're Disabled guidebook. So this education will be hard won. You're about to discover that you can be surrounded by people, even people who love you, and still feel completely alone. This goes back to your battle with despair. You can't let it hold you back. You'll have to learn to live with it. I'm not going to lie to you, you may still feel this way for months, even years into your recovery, long after you've been sent home. But there will be help, and you'll value it more than you can express. Peer support, other survivors, connecting to people who share your experience will help make this feel less lonely. They will also be your instruction manuals, so seek them out. So now days or even weeks have gone by and it looks like you're not going to die. Not in the foreseeable future anyway. The doctors have stabilized your vitals and rehab's about to start its engines. This is your new job. It's a full-time job and you'll have to give your whole self over to it. It's going to be relentless, but it will also be rewarding. Just know, like you, your rehab team did not receive a manual specific to your needs. They will have to feel things out. No two strokes are exactly the same, and a huge part of their skill is adapting on a case-by-case basis. Let them. Be patient with them. Listen to them, do what they say, but also go beyond. They'll give you the blueprint, but you're the one that has to build. Very likely your team won't have more than an hour a day with you. The rest of the day is all yours. The key now is strength. You have to rebuild strength back, both in the side affected by the stroke and the one that still works. Surprisingly, there's a lot you can do from your bed, and that's where you're going to start. Look up tutorials on YouTube and throw yourself into it. You now have all the time in the world. After strength, repetition is your next tool. You're going to hear the word neuroplasticity a lot. Repetitive motion is what teaches the brain to rewire. It may feel like you're putting in the hours and the days and nothing is happening, but it is. One day a part of your body that hasn't moved in weeks will twitch, shift, or even bend, and that will be the first domino. The smallest progress will feel like the biggest win, and every inch of it will be earned. Early on, you probably had a doctor give you a grim diagnosis. Something like, you're never going to walk again. Ignore that. They think they're being realistic, but the truth is they just don't know. Your progress will depend on what you put into it. That's not to say everything will magically fix itself, but no one knows enough about you to make such a definitive claim, so screw them. People will be both a blessing and a challenge. You're going to hear unsolicited comments about your condition. People with no experience suddenly becoming experts. Some will share stories of others who didn't make it in a misguided attempt to remind you that you're lucky to be alive. But those comments come from a place of privilege, or maybe even ignorance. Lucky isn't being unable to dress yourself, it isn't peeing into a bag, and it sure as hell isn't losing use or feeling of part of your body. There will be people who love you. They will reach out, let them. Remember, they're scared too. Others, whom you expected to show up, may disappoint you. And then there'll be those who surprise you. You're now part of a community. Unfortunately, the membership requirements were brutal. But you're not alone. There are people who care deeply about you, even if you've never met them. We are bonded by trauma. No two experiences are exactly the same, but we have a pretty good idea of what each other's going through. We feel for one another. As I said earlier, seek us out, share your story, listen to ours. It'll help you heal. Now you might be thinking, that's great and all, but what about the fact that I remember who I am and my wife, but I have no idea what this cell phone thing is. I have absolutely no recollection of what they are. What is that about? Unfortunately, the side effects of stroke are so incredibly diverse that I can't possibly list them in one letter. Ideally, this would be a living document, updated by other survivors like a choose-your-own-adventure guide. Feeling like a loved one's been replaced by an identical imposter? Or you're in a place that looks familiar but feels fake. Flip to pages 123 and 187 to read about Capgras delusion and reduplicative paramnesia. There's a large community of stroke survivors online, and there's a good chance you'll find someone who's gone through something similar. Above all, know this, your story isn't over. You've already done something extraordinary by surviving. Now comes the slow, frustrating, painful work of reclaiming your life. Early in my recovery, I was informed that many survivors regard their stroke date as their new birthday. There's a new you, and you are yours to make how you wish. It won't be easy, and it won't be fair, but you're not alone. We're out here, fighting our own fight, cheering you on and walking beside you, even if you can't see us. So keep going. Rest when you need to, pray if it suits you, cry when you have to, scream whenever possible, but don't stop. You're still here. And that matters. You matter.